are excited to hear me talk about all my train wrecks, it's too long for tonight. So we'll have to talk in private. But we're going to talk about some pretty cool things that happen when you don't plan on it. And when you work with nature, when you become in sync with nature and you're not fighting it, I think about my dad every day. We cabbed in February or March. It was muddy. Dad hated mud. My dad's been gone about 12 years. He hated mud. He fought it. He cursed it. But what he was really trying to instill in all of us was, that, hey, there's got to be a better way. And he never wanted all of us kids to stop learning. Kids, grandkids, everybody. So it's pretty cool that we have that part in our family. Go ahead, Carrie. So we've had so much rain. Nick, get off your phone for a second. That is a Ward Laboratory rain gauge filled with soil and fairies on my back porch. That was when my granddaughters did that. That's how little rain we've had. So think about it. We weren't using it as a rain gauge. The next generation found a use for it. So let's think about that. Let's think about that a lot. Why do we always get stuck in a rut? Hey, we need rain, we need it bad. It will come, and we'll be smarter when it comes, because we learn from each one of these deals. So you don't have to fill your rain gauges with soil and little fairies, but you can if you want to. Wards have a whole bunch of those rain gauges. So it's pretty cool. Next slide, Carrie. Genetics. Do we have the right genetics? When we get into this deal, you guys got to see a lot of our cattle today. The Graze Master deal has been a dream of my father's. My dad always dreamt about having his own breed of cattle. Many of you people probably don't even know that back in the day, Pioneer Seed had Pioneer beef cattle. Raise your hands who knows that. Well, Terry, you're 100, you would know that. Naturally. So my sisters remember it. So my dad not only sold Pioneer Seed, he sold Pioneer beef cattle. And Pioneer was the most progressive beef operation, period. There's never been one like it. They picked and had the money to buy all the best genetics of multiple breeds. I still have a Pioneer beef cattle manual in my kids' attic. It was a sales manual. They were so far ahead of their time. Now, that didn't last because the stockholders didn't understand that cattle take longer than corn production and things like that. That's when my dad fell in love with the idea of building your own breed. And I think back in the day they had a breed called the RX3, which was a three-way composite. So back in 1984, we started to use some composite bulls on registered Hereford cows. We were always red hide, we're still red hide. And we used a lot of different genetic combinations that didn't work. And so it took us a long time to really hone that in. Now, does the Graze Master breed work every place? No. Does it work for our place? Yes. And so we really need to start thinking about what works for us, not what works for some glossy magazine that you get sent to free by some company that wants to sell you something. So the Graze Master deal works for us. If you want us to build a breed for you, we can build that breed. But in a drought time, when we talk about all these things that went wrong, we're going to be better when we come out of this. We're going to farm different. We're going to have different, tweak these genetics. We're going to do a lot of different things. So, yeah, it's tough going through this dry spell, but we're learning. Our motto around our place is, we're not making mistakes fast enough. And I will try anything, everyone knows that, to make it better for everyone. Go ahead, Gary. So, cool things like when you don't have enough grass, you feed hay at maybe a different time of the year. So that looks like, gosh, that's a pain, you know, that you have to do that, the expense. That's called biocarpeting. And we didn't know it was called biocarpeting. We had done it for 20 years before somebody said it was a fancy name. So you feed the cows on the ground. We talked about it earlier. We translocate seed. Cows eat what they want. They tromp the rest into the soil that builds organic matter and starts to sequester carbon. So we start to really change our soil profile as far as, you know, the soil health when we have to do different things. Do I want to be feeding hay year round? No, I hate to feed hay, period. But when you do it, you may as well have a plan that if you have some thin soil in some areas like that, or some places that you need to translocate some of that seed, you know, it's all wrapped up right in that bag. Go ahead, Eric. So you can't manage what you don't measure. So we're doing a test for contaminants in the soil for University of Nebraska Med Center. And there's going to be some people talk about it tomorrow, Dr. Coulter and some other people that are involved with that program. You know, it's what we have done in the past, and maybe kind of continue with what we're doing, but it's really, let's not just in that program, but now is the time to really start to measure where we're at with the soil. Because I guarantee you it's only going to get better when it starts raining. And why don't we be prepared to really seize that opportunity? So let's measure. Measure everything. You have to measure to know where you're at. And we've got clients in 42 states, Canada, Mexico, United Kingdom, some in Australia. They're all taking a lot of time to manage and measure to see where they're at. They're not all in a drought, but we have to use the tools we have, you know, available to really make these programs better. Back to the contaminant type soil tests. You know, there wasn't a lot of farmers that were interested in even seeing what was in their soil. We're always wanting to make it better. It's not just for me, I'm too old, but it's all those future generations. We can talk about, you know, my grandkids are the 7th generation, means nothing. Nebraska's now gone a little bit on the high horse. Nebraskans are great about talking about generations. It means nothing. We screw this up, we get it wrong right now, there's no more generations. We have to protect the water, we have to conserve it, we have to make the soil better. Anybody that studied history knows that civilizations have risen and fallen because we depleted resources. We're smarter than that. We know we can do a good job. Don't let someone tell you that, you know, you can't make a difference or you have to do it this way. Think on your own and you'll do great. Whoa. There you are, all right there. So carbon opportunities. I wouldn't trust those two guys in the carbon deal, but there's some people over at this table that are really good. And they are part of the Graze Master family. And like Carrie was talking, it's a legit deal. And we go across the country talking to people about what these carbon opportunities are. Something to think about now is when we're so dry, that baseline play, help me, that should be really low. You should have a good first reading, carbon sequestration, good payments. The guy with the good hair can run any kind of estimate, and the young ladies can too. That was a coming around everything cyclical. Larry worked with my dad, and he could do the best imitations of my dad with his temper of anyone I know. But he got to see what we were doing, and it's been a long time. We finally come back together in a really cool way to do things on a global scale. Look into those carbon programs. I may be a bit biased. I've worked with a lot of different ones. This is the first carbon program that I signed our farm up with. And we work all over the country. Actually, we could be in Alabama every week for the rest of our lives if we wanted to be. So when you think about all those different opportunities, think about the carbon deal, think about all those things that maybe take a little bit more due diligence than we're used to. You're not going to hear it at the co-op, you're not going to hear it at the chemical place. You know, you need to talk to people, neighbors, you need to talk to people that have actually done it. It's time we put some trust back in the community, and this is certainly a great group to start with. If you're going to use inputs, use them that are, that are in tune with nature. You know, years ago when they started with biologicals, we tested hundreds. Nate Belcher's been right by my side doing a lot of those. You know, a lot of them were a snake oil type product, and that's changed. You know, we're going to see more micro usage of things than macro. Nick and I talked a lot about, you know, every acre soil is depleted, but we really think that every acre probably holds most of what we need. We just need to unlock it. Talk to these guys and see what wards you're seeing out there. Talk to Brad Schultz and these guys that got products here that can really help you in a really good way. But when we start fighting nature, which is that, I mean, we're known for that in agriculture, it's never going to work. My grandfather was a true naturalist, and I channel his spirit, I guess, in how I'm doing this. And we're making it too hard on ourselves. And we could make it a lot easier, a lot more fun, and a lot more profitable. I don't know if I got any more. Adaptability. So I take hundreds of pictures of all kinds of plants and flowers and everything, and it's hard on a year like this to even find something that's beautiful out there. You know, the grass is in tough shape and things like that. Driving along the other day in a gator, and I saw this little flower, and I took a picture, and I'm like, let's think about adaptability. So we adapt our cattle on our place to the conditions that suit us. Maybe we need to rethink the kind of plants we're even planting. You know, it's just, there's a lot of opportunities out there. Scott Hyman and I, we talk about that a lot. Are we doing the right thing? Are we even raising the right crops? Just because someone told us or some system is out there that we think we have to follow, we don't have to get rid of that system completely. But let's start doing some cool things that maybe make more sense and are tied in with nature. Go ahead, Gary. Oh, good, you guys are safe. That's the end of everything. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart, everyone that's here, everyone that's been here, all the people involved with the Graze Master Group. Carrie especially, she's the brains of this deal. I'm just a pretty face, and she keeps it all going while I'm on the road, and keeps the Graze Master Group growing and everything every day. So I just appreciate your time and everyone being here. Thank you.
All right, we're nearing the end. We'll go to bed. I was very remiss in not thanking Peterson Asset Protection Group and Alliance and